The story of human societies is one of transformation and adaptation, a tale that spans from the dawn of our species to the complexities of modern civilization. This journey encapsulates the shift from nomadic hunter-gatherer groups to settled agricultural communities, the rise of cities, and the development of complex social, political, and economic structures. Let's explore this fascinating evolution, peppered with interesting facts and examples that illuminate the pivotal moments in our collective history. The dawn of humanity. Humans first appeared in Africa around 300,000 years ago. These early humans were hunter-gatherers, relying on the environment for sustenance. They lived in small, mobile groups, constantly moving to follow food sources. This lifestyle required a deep knowledge of nature and the ability to adapt quickly to changing conditions. Early social structures. Early human societies were likely egalitarian, with men and women contributing equally to the group's survival. Men typically hunted large game, while women gathered plant foods and small animals. This division of labor was practical, given the physical demands of hunting and the need to care for children. However, these roles were not rigid, and everyone shared in the responsibilities based on need and capability. The Neolithic Revolution. Around 12,000 years ago, a major shift occurred, the Neolithic Revolution. This period saw the development of agriculture, which fundamentally changed human societies. Agriculture allowed people to produce surplus food, leading to population growth and the establishment of permanent settlements. The birth of farming. The transition from hunting and gathering to farming didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process that likely started with the domestication of wild plants and animals. Early humans began cultivating crops like wheat, barley, and rice, and domesticating animals such as goats, sheep, and cattle. This shift was driven by a combination of factors, including climate changes and increasing population pressure on natural resources. Settlements and social changes. With agriculture came the ability to settle in one place. Early farming communities formed in fertile regions such as the Near East, China, and Mesoamerica. These settlements were small at first, but grew over time as food production became more efficient. Permanent settlements led to the development of new social structures. Leaders emerged to manage resources and resolve conflicts, and specialized roles developed within communities. The rise of civilizations. As agricultural societies grew, they evolved into more complex civilizations. This period, known as the Bronze Age, saw the rise of the first cities and states, particularly in regions like Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, and China. Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. One of the earliest and most influential civilizations was Mesopotamia, located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in modern-day Iraq. Known as the Cradle of Civilization, Mesopotamia saw the development of writing, law codes, and monumental architecture. Writing. The Sumerians, who lived in southern Mesopotamia, developed one of the world's first writing systems, cuneiform, around 3200 BCE. This allowed them to keep records, codify laws, and transmit knowledge across generations. Law of the Code of Hammurabi, created around 1754 BCE, is one of the earliest known legal codes. It established laws and corresponding punishments, reflecting the complexity of Mesopotamian society. Architecture. Mesopotamians built impressive structures, including ziggurats, which were massive terraced temples that served as religious and administrative centers. Egypt, the gift of the Nile. Ancient Egypt, flourishing along the Nile River, was another cornerstone of early civilization. The Nile's predictable flooding cycle allowed for reliable agriculture, supporting a dense population and leading to the development of a centralized state. Pharaoh's Egyptian society was highly hierarchical, with the pharaoh at the top believed to be a god on earth. The pharaoh's divine status was reinforced through monumental architecture like the pyramids, which served as tombs and symbols of power. Innovation. Egyptians made significant advances in engineering, medicine, and astronomy. They developed a solar calendar and made early strides in mathematics, which were essential for constructing their monumental buildings. Social hierarchies and specialization. As societies became more complex, so did their social structures. A key feature of early civilizations was the development of social hierarchies. These hierarchies were often based on occupation, wealth, and family lineage. Specialization of labor. One of the hallmarks of early civilizations was the specialization of labor. As agricultural productivity increased, not everyone needed to farm. People began to take on specialized roles such as craftsmen, traders, soldiers, and priests. Craftsmanship. The Bronze Age saw the development of metallurgy, with bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, being used for tools, weapons, and art. This technological advancement improved agricultural efficiency and military capabilities. Trade networks expanded significantly during this period. Goods like obsidian, lapis lazuli, and textiles were traded over long distances, facilitating cultural exchange and economic growth. The Iron Age and the spread of empires. The transition from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age around 1200 BCE brought further technological and social changes. Iron tools and weapons were stronger and more durable than their bronze counterparts, leading to agricultural and military advancements. The rise of empires. The Iron Age saw the rise of powerful empires such as the Assyrian, Persian, and Roman empires. These empires expanded through conquest and diplomacy, creating vast territories that brought diverse cultures under a single administration. Assyrian Empire. Known for their military prowess and administrative efficiency, the Assyrians built one of the largest empires of the ancient world. They used advanced siege techniques and a well-organized army to expand their territory. Persian Empire. The Persian Empire, under leaders like Cyrus the Great and Darius, was notable for its tolerance and efficient bureaucracy. The Persians built extensive road networks and promoted trade across their vast empire. Roman Empire. The Romans built an extensive and enduring empire through a combination of military conquest, strategic infrastructure, and legal innovation. Roman law and governance influenced many subsequent European states. Cultural and technological achievements. Throughout these periods, human societies made significant cultural and technological advances. Art, religion, and science flourished, reflecting and shaping the values and beliefs of these civilizations. Art and architecture were integral to early civilizations, serving both practical and symbolic purposes. Egyptian art. Egyptian art was highly symbolic and served religious and funerary purposes. The intricate tomb paintings and statues were meant to ensure a safe passage to the afterlife. Greek architecture. Ancient Greece contributed significantly to architectural principles, with the Parthenon being a prime example of classical architecture. Greek architecture emphasized symmetry, proportion, and harmony. Advances in science and technology were driven by practical needs such as agriculture, construction, and medicine, mathematics, and astronomy. Babylonians and Egyptians made early advances in mathematics and astronomy, developing concepts like the 60-minute hour and the 365-day calendar. Medicine. Ancient societies practiced early forms of medicine. For example, Egyptian medical texts provide insights into surgical practices and treatments for various ailments. The fall of the Roman Empire marked the beginning of the medieval period, characterized by feudalism, the rise of the Catholic Church, and the eventual emergence of nation-states. Feudalism was a hierarchical system in medieval Europe, where land was exchanged for military service. Lords owned large estates and granted land to vassals in exchange for loyalty and service. Peasants or serfs worked the land and provided food in return for protection. The medieval period is often associated with knights and castles. Knights were mounted warriors who followed a code of chivalry, while castles served as fortified residences for nobility and defense structures. The Catholic Church played a central role in medieval life, influencing politics, education, and culture. Monasteries preserved knowledge through the Dark Ages and were centers of learning and literacy. Feudalism was a hierarchical system in medieval Europe where land was exchanged for military service. Lords owned large estates and granted land to vassals in exchange for loyalty and service. Peasants or serfs worked the land and provided food in return for protection. The Renaissance, beginning in the 14th century, was a period of renewed interest in art, science, and the classical knowledge of Greece and Rome. This cultural revival was driven by figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Galileo Galilei. The Renaissance produced some of the greatest works of art and literature, including the paintings of Leonardo and Michelangelo and the writings of Dante and Shakespeare. The period also saw significant advancements in science, with figures like Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton challenging traditional views of the universe and laying the groundwork for modern science. Modern era. Industrialization and Globalization. The Industrial Revolution, starting in the late 18th century, marked another transformative period in human history. This era saw the rise of factories, urbanization, and significant technological advancements. Industrialization brought about profound economic and social changes. The invention of machinery and the establishment of factories revolutionized production processes and labor. Urbanization. People moved from rural areas to cities in search of work, leading to rapid urban growth. This shift had significant social implications, including changes in family structures and lifestyles. Technological advancements. Innovations such as the steam engine, telegraph, and spinning jenny drastically changed how people lived and worked. The steam engine, for example, powered locomotives and ships, transforming transportation and trade. The telegraph revolutionized communication, allowing information to be transmitted quickly over long distances, which was crucial for both personal and commercial correspondence. Urbanization and its impacts. As industrialization progressed, people moved from rural areas to cities in search of work, leading to rapid urban growth. This shift had significant social implications, including changes in family structures and lifestyles. Living conditions. Early industrial cities were often overcrowded and unsanitary. Poor living conditions led to health problems and social issues. Over time, however, urban reforms improved infrastructure, housing, and public health. Economic opportunity. Cities became centers of economic activity, offering diverse job opportunities. This drew not only local populations but also immigrants from other countries, contributing to cultural diversity. Political and social changes. The modern era saw significant political and social changes influenced by industrialization, urbanization, and Enlightenment ideals. The Enlightenment and democratic revolutions. The Enlightenment was an intellectual movement that emphasized reason, individualism, and skepticism of authority. Enlightenment thinkers like John Locke, Voltaire, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau challenged traditional views on government and society, advocating for liberty, equality, and fraternity. American Revolution. Inspired by Enlightenment ideals, the American colonies declared independence from Britain in 1776, leading to the formation of the United States and the establishment of a democratic government. French Revolution. In 1789, the French Revolution began, driven by similar ideals. It led to the overthrow of the monarchy, the establishment of a republic, and significant social and political reforms. The 19th and 20th centuries' nationalism and global conflicts. The 19th and 20th centuries were marked by the rise of nationalism and two world wars, which reshaped global politics and societies. Nationalism. Nationalism, the belief in the superiority and interests of one's nation, became a powerful force in the 19th century. It led to the unification of countries like Germany and Italy, and the decline of multi-ethnic empires such as the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires. World Wars. World War I. The First World War, from 1914 to 1918, was a global conflict involving many of the world's great powers. It resulted in significant political changes, including the downfall of empires and the redrawing of borders in Europe and the Middle East. World War II, from 1939 to 1945, was even more devastating, involving most of the world's nations. The war ended with the defeat of the Axis powers, which included Germany, Italy, and Japan, and led to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. Post-war era, the Cold War and Decolonization. The post-World War II era was characterized by the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, and the decolonization of Asia and Africa. The Cold War. The Cold War, from 1947 to 1991, was marked by ideological conflict and competition for global influence between the capitalist West, led by the United States, and the communist East, led by the Soviet Union. Arms race. Both superpowers amassed large arsenals of nuclear weapons, leading to a state of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, that prevented direct conflict but fueled proxy wars in Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. Space race. The competition extended to space exploration, with the Soviet Union launching the first satellite, Sputnik, in 1957, and the United States landing the first humans on the moon in 1969. Decolonization. After World War II, many colonies in Asia and Africa gained independence. The process of decolonization was often complex and contentious, leading to new nations and sometimes ongoing conflicts. India gained independence from Britain in 1947, followed by the partition into India and Pakistan, which led to significant migration and violence. Africa. Many African nations achieved independence in the 1950s and 1960s, but the legacy of colonialism often left them with economic challenges and political instability. The late 20th and early 21st centuries. Globalization and digital revolution. The late 20th and early 21st centuries have seen rapid advancements in technology, communication, and globalization, significantly transforming human societies. Globalization. Globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of the world's economies, cultures, and populations. Economic integration. The establishment of international trade organizations such as the World Trade Organization and trade agreements like NAFTA and the EU have facilitated global commerce. Cultural exchange. Globalization has also led to the exchange of cultural ideas and practices, promoting diversity but also raising concerns about cultural homogenization. The digital revolution. The advent of the internet and digital technologies has had a profound impact on almost every aspect of human life. Information and communication. The internet has revolutionized how we access information and communicate, shrinking the world and enabling real-time connections across the globe. Economy and work. Digital technologies have transformed industries, leading to the rise of the gig economy, remote work, and new business models like e-commerce and social media platforms. Current and future challenges. As we move further into the 21st century, human societies face several significant challenges that require global cooperation and innovative solutions. Climate change, driven by human activities such as deforestation and burning fossil fuels, poses a serious threat to the planet. Rising temperatures, sea levels, and extreme weather events impact ecosystems, agriculture, and human settlements. Efforts to combat climate change include reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning to renewable energy sources, and implementing strategies to adapt to changing conditions. Despite advances in technology and economic growth, social inequality remains a critical issue. Income inequality has grown in many parts of the world, with wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. Disparities in access to education, healthcare, and other essential services continue to affect millions of people, particularly in developing countries. The rapid pace of technological advancement raises ethical questions about privacy, security, and the implications of artificial intelligence and biotechnology. As artificial intelligence and automation become more integrated into daily life, there are concerns about job displacement and the ethical use of AI in decision-making processes. Advances in genetic engineering and biotechnology offer significant benefits, but also pose ethical dilemmas related to genetic privacy, biosecurity, and the potential for inequality in access to these technologies. The evolution of human societies is a complex and dynamic process shaped by countless factors, from environmental changes to technological innovations and social movements. As we look to the future, understanding this history helps us navigate the challenges and opportunities ahead, fostering a more interconnected, equitable, and sustainable world.